Hello everyone. Can you all hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. Please, can someone indicate that they can hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
All right, please give me a minute. All right, please give me. Okay, we'll be starting class now. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so we'll be starting right about now. Thank you so much all for joining. Welcome to the JIIPCC Mentorship and Internship Program for the Medical Health Tech and Law class. My name is Dennis Williams, and I'll be moderating today's session. I am sure we would have a very, very interesting session. So I want all of us to just hang in tight and make sure to reach out to co-mentees that have not yet joined in for class, trying to remind them that we have started the session. So please, if you know any other member that hasn't joined in on the call yet, please do well to reach out to them so that they can do that right now. I will just be going through our agenda for today, what we'll be doing today. So firstly, we'll be having introduction of our mentor, right? We'll be introducing our mentor for today, and then we'll go ahead and take presentations, right? I hope both groups are present. I hope presenters for both groups are present and ready to take on presentations, because we'll be doing that right about now. And after we're done with presentation, we'll be having our mentor come up to give us his discourse on today and just help us run through class. And then lastly, we'll take questions and answers, take a screenshot of today's session and call it a day. So not to waste any more of your time, to introduce our mentor for today. Our mentor for today is our very, very own Mr. Ebenezer, Barrister Ebenezer rather, Egwatsu. All right, Barrister Ebenezer is a legal, give me a moment. Barrister Ebenezer is a legal practitioner, medical law consultant, certified mediator, a trained legislative drafter, and a passionate patients' rights and safety advocate. He is the principal partner, Law Found's Multidisciplinary Consult, a firm that provides innovative legal solutions located in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, Nigeria. He is also the founder and executive director of Lawyers Arise for the People initiative, LAPI, a patients' rights and safety advocacy NGO. Ebenezer is a trained medical care assessor by International Medical Law Center, St. Kitts, North America. He is a member of the Nigerian, sorry about the noise. He is a member of, sorry, 1 minute. He's a member of the Nigerian Bar Association Medical Law Professionals Association of Nigerian MELPAN, member Institute of Medical and Health Law, IMHL, member Bioethics Society of Nigeria, BISOM, member Patient Safety Africa, member World Association of Medical Law, WAML, and member Association of Legislative Drafters and Advocacy Practitioners. He currently serves as the chairman, Health and Medical Law Committee, Nigerian Bar Association, Gariki branch, that is the MBA, Abuja, the Public Relation Officer, Institute of Medical and Law and Health Law, and the legal team lead, for Make Our Hospital Work campaign, a citizen-led, community-based advocacy to improve the quality of healthcare services in hospitals and primary healthcare facilities across Nigeria. He trains doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals on promoting patients' rights and avoiding medical negligence. He is an avid reader and a researcher and loves to serve God by serving humanity. We thank you very much, Mr. Ebenezer, for joining us in today's session. We are very, very, very much happy to have you in class today. So we'll not be wasting time. We have sent out notifications and reminders to the group about presentations. And what we'll be doing right now is that we'll be
Thank
taking
you, Mr.
Oh, okay. Over to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear
just
you.
say thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I want to congratulate those who have made it to this third quarter of training for the year. I saw a number or a participant that has only phone number, has only a number 116359. If you are the owner or the participant, please kindly change it to your name, 116359. Thank you. In the course of our interaction, I will have you introduce yourselves, where you are joining from, why you took this course. But for time's sake, kindly make your presentations before we go into that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much,
Did
Mr.
you hear me?
Yes, sir, we heard you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer.
Okay.
So please, we would want to hand over to the group presenters of both groups, group 1 and 2. Please, you both have 15 minutes each for your presentation. If you need help sharing your slides, kindly let me know so that I can help you share slides. But please, you are to share your slides while presenting. So group 1 presenter for today, you can kindly go ahead, share your slides and start your presentation. Do we have the group presenter in class today?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to share my screen, sir.
Okay, if you are having issues doing that, you can stop sharing your slides and I'll help you share your screen.
Okay, I'm just trying to get it. So I think I'm lost. I don't know. I click the share button now, but then I go into the document, trying to.
No need to worry, just kindly share. Just kindly share. Stop sharing your slides so that we'll help you do it.
Okay, okay. So should I just go ahead and start presenting now?
Go ahead and start presenting.
All right, sir. So, I'm coming, sir. So the topic is Earth Technology Law. So the topic is health technology law, medical ethics, regulation, and compliance within the public health sector. So
No, health technology
as-
law is your course.
yeah, the topic is medical ethics, regulation, and compliance within the public
Health
health sector.
is your course, so good. Yes.
All right, please go
So
ahead.
should I go ahead? Yeah, so medical ethics, regulation and compliance within the public health sector. So as we all know, we are in the digital era, so everybody is going digital, and the health sector is not left behind. So firstly, we are going to talk about medical ethics, regulation and compliance with health law. So what is medical ethics itself? Medical ethics just medical ethics refers to the various rules that provide a framework, principles and values to guide healthcare professionals. For example, the rules that guide health professionals, medical doctors, dentists, anything as professionals, and then the rules and regulation, the legal framework that are supposed to follow. So they have core principles, four major principles. We have the justice, we have the justice, we have the non-maleficence, we have the beneficence, and then I think lastly we have the autonomy. So autonomy is
Your
just
line is
giving
breaking. Is it from my end?
She's quite, I think it's from your end.
Hello, presenter.
hello sir.
Hello, sir.
Wow.
All right, please go ahead. Go ahead with your presentation. I will let him know that it's his network that has issues.
All right, sir. So, like I was saying earlier, we have the autonomy, the justice, the non-maleficence, and the beneficence. So, autonomy is just the right health practitioners are supposed to give to their patients in choosing, in making a decision. So, the health practitioners are not supposed to just go ahead and make a decision for them. They are supposed to seek the consent of their patients before doing anything. Why I think normal efficiency is to do no harm. Yes, and why beneficence is to do good, and then we all know justice, which is just and fair. All patients are supposed to be given the same fair treatment. So one of the case studies for medical ethics is one case that happened in University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital in 2020, where the doctor did not tell the patient that the patient has COVID-19, which is coronavirus, and COVID-19, yes. And this led to the patient getting in contact with other people, which led to another issue entirely. So the ethical issues there is the ethical issues from the case study I just mentioned earlier is the non-maleficence by withholding truth, because the doctor did not tell the patient that he's a COVID-19 carrier. So, and then also the truth, harm was also done to others, because the non-maleficence are also do no harm. So by you withholding the truth, you already did some harm to others that came in contact with such a person. And then the beneficence, which is the duty to protect staff, and also patient was ignored. And then the justice, other patients were unfairly exposed to these things. So, and then still on medical ethics. So it is pertinent for us to know that all medical practitioners, both the doctors, the nurses, the everybody, as long as you're in the health line, you have the right, is it right now? I'm going to call it, or you have a duty, yes, you have a duty to follow these core principles in your day-to-day activities. As far as you are a health practitioner, you are supposed to follow these core principles, which is non-maleficence, beneficence, justice, and autonomy by dealing with patients. And then hospitals must report infectious disease like Lassa fever, monkeypox to the NCDC, so that the NCDC will get to work in making sure that other people does not like infect this disease, in making sure that it does not turn to a disease outbreak like we have the Ebola, the COVID-19, and other disease outbreaks out there. So hospitals must make sure once they detect any of these sickness like Lassa fever, they are supposed to like report to the NCDC immediately in order to put a stop to it, or look for a means that to not to prevent it from turning into a disease outbreak or turning into a disaster in the society or in the community. And then they also have a time frame. They are supposed to, like, immediately you detect it, they have a time frame. They must report it within that time frame, and if not, they face their penalties. So that will lead us to regulation and compliance. So after this medical ethics, they have some regulations, they have some duties, some laws they are supposed to adhere to. So that is why we got regulation and compliance. So health technology compliance in Nigeria involves adhering to multiple laws and regulations, including the Company Act. So every hospital must register the hospital, whether as a limited liability company, as a liability company, as a PLC, as a LTD. Every hospital must register, and that you have to register with the company and so with the CAC by following the Company and Allied Matters Act. So also Nigeria Data Protection Act for data privacy, just like the course is health technology law. We are in digital era, everybody is going digital, so we need to adhere to some of these digital laws in order to protect our patients, because we have data privacy. If there's no laws guiding data privacy in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, some people might just expose their patients to okay, for example, we have one of the this thing is confidentiality. Yes, one of the medical ethics of health practitioners is they must to keep the record of their patients confidential. So if there is no law guiding data privacy in Nigeria, this will expose the patient to their medical records will be exposed, and then the principles of confidentiality will no longer be there. Let me just put it that way. So that is why it is important for hospitals to adhere with the Nigeria Data Protection Act in order to protect the privacy, and so in order to protect the data of their patients. And then also the National Health Act, every health practitioners must adhere with the National Health Act, and then patient rights and record management. So also health technology providers must ensure that practitioners are licensed under Professionals Act. So you are a medical doctor, you can't just practice without getting your license. You can't just open a hospital without getting your license. And this is so because in order to protect your patients, in order to protect even you as a medical doctor. So also foreign you must also register foreign technology transfer with the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, which is NOTAP, and maintain robust system for data security and patient confidentiality, which I already mentioned earlier, that you must adhere with all these laws in order to like protect records of your patients and all. So now, healthcare compliance law refers to a set of rules and regulations designed to enforce ethical conduct, protect patient privacy and rights, prevent fraud and abuse, and ensure medical professionals adhere to standards of practice. All of these I've already explained earlier, that they must adhere to rules and regulations, to different frameworks in order to protect the records of their patients, in order to prevent fraud and abuse, because any person can just if there is no laws in place to guide medical practitioners, anybody can just open an hospital and start operating illegally, since there is no law guiding these things. So these are the reason why there are laws, and they must adhere with this law. And if they don't adhere with these laws, they will be punished. There are penalties in place for it. For example, a medical doctor practicing without his license will be penalized, maybe by locking off the hospital and spending some time in jail. And then so simply means regulation and compliance simply means adhering to laws, regulations, and ethical standards. Ethical standards. It also ensures public health institutions act lawfully and transparently. Regulation and compliance is the name of every law. The law is for regulations to prevent arbitrary actions and yet must be complied with. So I'll be rounding it up. So the summary of our work is health technology law protects both innovation and patients' rights. Medical ethics ensure fairness, consent, and responsible care, while regulation keeps the public health system safe and effective. And then compliance is non-negotiable for accountability and trust. So every health practitioners must comply with the rules and regulations guiding health practitioners in Nigeria. So that's all.
Okay, before group 2 comes up, what are the laws regulating healthcare practice in Nigeria?
So we have the National Health Act, the NHA. We have the National Data Privacy for protecting patients' record. Yes, patients' data. We have the I think the NMA, the Nigerian Medical Associate. Okay, yes, the Act. We have the NOTAP. Yes, the NOTAP as well, which is to protect foreign technologies coming into the country.
Now, I will address some issues in the course of time, but you mixed a lot of things up. In the course of my addressing the class, you will get clearer understanding. What does non-malfeasance mean?
Okay, I think non-malfeasance is to do no harm.
You cannot be thinking, no, you are the lecturer now. You are teaching us. Okay, so what are the basic ethical, what are the basic pillars of medical ethics?
On the autonomy, the non-malfeasance, the beneficence, and justice.
Okay. Okay. Let's have group 2. I will discuss more on, I will bring further clarification where you say that where somebody, a medical practitioner, is found to be practicing without license.
Yes, sir.
And all that. So, discuss that. So let's have group 2.
All right, can we have the presenter for group 2?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'll do well to share your screen right now. So please, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, sir. My name is Praise Omola, and the topic for today's presentation is health technology law, medical ethics, regulation, and compliance within the private health sector. The next health technologies like electronic health records, telemedicine, artificial intelligence, biotechnology is reshaping private healthcare in sense that it's improving the way what is being done in the private health
Please speak
technology.
up a little.
Okay, sir. I said health technology, electronic health records, telemedicine, artificial intelligence, biotechnology is reshaping private healthcare by improving the way work is being done in the private health sector. It improves efficiency, the way patients have access to their data records, and the way patients are being treated in the hospital. However, it raises some concerns, some questions are being asked due to the use of this technology, like how will the data of the patient be protected? How will the rights of the patient be respected? And how do we ensure that healthcare remains within the law? So as a result of these concerns, there is a need to balance innovation with legal ethics in the private sector, which means that there is a need to balance the way these technology are used with the way the law have been laid down. The next item. So our aim in this topic is to examine the legal frameworks that guide the emergence of health technologies within the private health sectors to assess how the ethical principles apply in the ethical principles like consent, confidentiality, and fairness apply within the digital healthcare to analyze the compliance mechanisms, that is how private health sectors can follow the law and protect both the patients and themselves. Also, this topic focuses on private health institutions. Next item. So definition of health technology means the use of tools, devices, systems, and knowledge to solve health problems and improve healthcare. This means the way that technology is being applied to improve healthcare delivery in the hospitals, to solve health problems, to improve patient care, and to improve the overall well-being of the patients. There are some categories of health technologies that are being used within the private health sectors, which includes telemedicine, which means that a patient can consult a doctor without having to travel down to the hospital. The artificial diagnostics, which is the use of artificial intelligence to detect diseases. The electronic health record, which is an online storage of patients' records, is the digital version of the patient's files. The medical devices are those tools that are being used in the hospital. And there have been some trends like the virtual hospitals, which helps patients to just consult doctors at the comfort of their home instead of traveling down to the hospitals. The artificial intelligence chat box, which interacts with the patients, the wearables like smartwatches that helps to keep health of patients in check, and even robots performing surgeries in the hospital. Next slide, sir. So in Nigeria, there are some legal frameworks that have been established to ensure that the healthcare technology is being guided. The first one is the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023. This act protects the patient's data. It ensures that the patient's data are being safeguarded and not misused, and it also established the Nigeria Data Protection Committee. The second one is the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria Code. This one regulates the doctors' practices. It ensures that the doctors protect the confidentiality of their patient, and it ensures that the patient uses the records of the patient responsibly and not carelessly. Next one is the Pharmacist Council of Nigeria Online Pharmacy Regulation 2021. This one ensures that online pharmacies that are being established have been licensed. Next one is the Medical Devices Regulation, which ensures that the devices, the health technologies that are being in use must be registered with the NAFDAC. And the last one is the taxation. It ensures that private healthcare institutions must comply with the tax laws by charging value-added tax where necessary, and by paying income tax on all their profits under the CITA, which is the Companies Income Tax Act. The next slide, sir. There are also some legal frameworks that have been established at the
Hello,
international. Sir,
hello.
hello, sir. Hello, sir.
We can hear you, praise. I think it's his network that has gone bad again.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute. I mean, I'll give you the go ahead to start very soon.
Okay,
Hello.
sir.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us, sir? Um, so please, praise, you can go ahead.
Okay, sir. So at the international level, there are also some legal frameworks that have been established to guide the way health technologies are being used in the private health sector. The first one is the General Data Protection Regulation, which is an European law that ensures that patients' privacy are protected. The next one is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This is a law that has been established in the United States that ensures that the information of patients within the hospital are being protected. The World Health Organization guidelines. The World Health Organization sets global guidelines to be followed by health professionals for digital health and telemedicine. The ISO and IEC standard. This is the International Safety and Quality Standard. The private health organizations must ensure that they follow all the global standards that have been set by the ISO and IEC to ensure that all the devices that and technologies that they are using and the healthcare practices are safe, are acceptable, and they are of high quality and do not endanger the patient. The next slide, sir. Medical ethics in health technology. So medical ethics are the rules that are guiding medical practices and healthcare among the health professionals within the private health sector. So the medical ethics like autonomy, which means that patients have the right to decide for themselves whether they want treatment or not, and they have the right to be informed before any treatment is administered to them. The next one is beneficence, which means that the doctors must act in the best interest of the patient. The next one is non-maleficent, do not harm, meaning that every device or every technology that has not been tested, technology that will endanger the patient and technologies that are risky should not be used on the patient. The patient, sorry. The next one is justice. This means that um everybody must have fair access to health care. It's not only the rich that should be allowed to use telemedicine, even other people should be allowed to use health care. Next one. Ethical dilemmas and case studies. So there are some situations that technology brings out some questions like AI diagnosis. What if an artificial intelligence and AI misdiagnose misdiagnoses a patient? Who will be responsible for it? Is it the doctor? Is it the hospital, or is it the AI developer? The next one is robotic surgery. If a surgical robot should malfunction during surgery, who will bear the liability? The next one is genetic testing, which means that who can get access to our DNA data and other privacy data. The case study is a private hospital genetic testing raised fears of misuse by insurers and employers. This means that when a private hospital use genetic testing, it raised fear among the employers, among the patients, that whether their data will be protected or not. The next slide, sir. So regulation and compliance in Nigeria. So there are some frameworks that have been established to ensure that the laws that have been set are being complied with in Nigeria. The first one is the Federal Ministry of Health. The Federal Ministry of Health is in charge of overseeing the overall health of the country, the overall national health policy of the country, Nigeria. The next one is the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. This it regulates the doctors and the dentist. It ensures that the doctors must protect the confidentiality and of their patient, and that they must use the data of the patient responsibly. Next one is the NAFDAC, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration. It ensures that the drugs and the devices that are used are safe for the patient. The NITDA, the National IT Development Agency, it regulates cybersecurity and data protection. This means that it ensures that the data and the records of the patients are protected, and that the cyber security measures are being complied with by the private health sectors. The Health Facility Monitoring Agency in Lagos. This is a monitoring agency that is established in Lagos that ensures that the hospitals, the private hospitals in Lagos are being licensed and are being monitored properly. The next slide, sir. Challenges of regulation and compliance. The first one is the cross-border health care. So telemedicine allows for patients who are in, for example, a patient in Nigeria can have access to a doctor in the United States without having to travel down to the United States. But as a result, because of the different jurisdiction that they are in, there are different laws that are guiding the health care practices of each country. So there are sometimes legal conflicts that arises as a result of these laws that are in place between the two countries. Balancing innovation and safety, avoid over or under regulation. So over-regulation is when there are too much laws in place on health technology that startups and um, new providers, small providers are unable to come up with new ideas and innovations because of the heavy laws that have been placed on the health technology and the cost of it. And the under regulation is when there are little laws that have been put in place that brings about unsafe ethics that endangers the patient, the lives of the patient and the data of the patient. The cost of compliance. Small providers struggle with cybersecurity and licensing because there are some small providers and small private health organizations that they cannot afford the cost of license and cybersecurity measures. And a case study is the IVF clinic in Lagos sanctioned for non-compliance, lost license and reputation. Next slide, sir. Best practices and models. The first one is successful compliance models in the healthcare, which means that in the private healthcare organization, there should be laws that have been put in place and they must ensure that they have been complied with. The next one is corporate governance, which means that the laws have been established within the private health organizations and they must monitor those laws and ensure that the health professionals are complying to them. The ethical AI, transparency and accountability. The AI technology that has been developed must be accountable and must be transparent in its dealings. The blockchain adoption, which ensures that the patient's records are safeguarded and are secured. The case study is the hospital that is using blockchain. The use of the blockchain in the hospital will reduce the data breaches and the misuse of the data and to improve trust among the patients. The next slide, please. Future directions, emerging technologies, wearables, nanomedicine, digital twins, which means that the emerging technology should be guided with some laws so that it will be useful and to be safe for the patient to use them. Anticipated regulatory reforms for digital health, strengthening ethical oversight in private healthcare innovation. Next slide. The conclusion and the recommendation, key findings, balance needed between innovation, ethics, and compliance. There should be a balance between the technology that is in use and the laws that have been set to guide the use of these technologies. Stronger policies, ethical oversight, global best practices, meaning that the laws that are in place should be stronger and should be strengthened in order to ensure the maximum use of this health technology. And the gap between technology, between ethics and medical ethics and law in private healthcare sector should be bridged in order for them to work hand in hand and ensure that the overall well-being of the patient is the is complied with. The next slide.
No more slides. That's all.
That's all, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, well done to you guys for both Group 1 and Group 2 for such a wonderful presentation from both groups. We'll be handing over back to Mr. Ebenezer for him to come and give feedback to your presentation and also present his discourse for today.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Firstly, let me commend the two groups for a fair attempt, but I wouldn't say it that harshly. You went far beyond your scope to go into other matters, and the main thrust of today's discussion, you people glossed over it, which is the regulation of medical practice. What is our topic again? Our topic is medical ethics, regulation, and compliance. Regulation of what? Regulation, of course, of medical practice. So the first port of call when you talk of regulation of medical practice in Nigeria is the Medical and Dental Act. Medical and Dental Practitioners Act. Now, the history of that act establishes the practice of medicine in Nigeria. It is the law that empowers the people we call doctors today to practice. So without the existence of that act, there will be no medicine to practice in Nigeria. So the regulatory or regulation of medical practice starts with the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, which of course is the Establishment Act. That's the act that establishes the profession we know today as medical profession. Now, the same act to further regulate practitioners now establishes Medical and Dental Council. Get the progression. Now, within the Medical and Dental Council, Section 15 of the Act established two important bodies within the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Number one is the Medical and Dental Practitioners Disciplinary Tribunal. The second one is the Medical and Dental Practitioners Investigative Panel. Now, where there is a complaint against a medical practitioner, note that the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria regulates only doctors, not hospitals. Now, what are the functions of the council? Number one, the council determines the course content, the curriculum for medical practice. Meaning, if anybody says today, I want to go and study medicine, it is the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. All the universities you see where they are studying medicine and certifying people, they have all been accredited. So the Medical and Dental Council determines the course components of the course of study for medicine, one. Two, the licensed qualified practitioners. So if the Medical and Dental Council does not license you, does not issue license, does not register you, they register qualified practitioners. If you are not registered, you are not even a medical doctor to start with. Three, they enforce the code of medical ethics, which is the code that guides their ethical, that provides for the ethical guidelines of healthcare professionals. Then they accredit medical and dental institutions. So anywhere you see College of Medicine, know that they have been accredited by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Now, how do they regulate doctors? Okay, let me start with the qualification. There are three broad types of registration. Once somebody, do we have any medical students here? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, am I
We
talking
can
to
hear you.
myself?
Yes,
Yes, sir, we can
Hello,
hear
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have any medical students here? It's trying to rain in my area, so the network is a kind of breaking. Do we have any medical students here? Just raise your hand if you are a medical student, or you unmute and say yes. Okay, now let me assume that we don't have. Where you go and study medicine, after writing your exam, qualifying exam in your university, you will go and do what they call partial registration or temporary registration or probationary registration. Now, when you make that first registration, it doesn't qualify you. After that, you go to what we call housemanship. It is after you have done your housemanship, you see a lot of them in the hospitals. After they have done their housemanship, they now come back with their certificates to come and do proper registration. It is then that you are deemed to have registered. After that registration, if you also have additional qualification or you become a consultant, you come back. So there is limited registration for people who come into Nigeria who are not Nigerians, who are foreign trained doctors, but are in Nigeria for a specific job. Maybe you have been employed by a hospital here to just come and carry out heart surgeries and go back to your country. When you come here, you will need to go to the Medical and Dental Council and obtain what is called limited registration. That registration allows you to practice medicine in Nigeria for the limited time that you are here. That limited time you are here, if you are here for 3 months, if you are here for 6 months, that is limited registration. For foreign doctors who are in Nigeria to do specific work for a limited period, then there is full registration. Your certificates of experience, that is when you do full registration. Before full registration, you will do your partial registration, which is upon graduation from your medical institution. So you already see that the regulation of medical practice has already started from the time of registration. That is one. Now, we talk about ethics, medical ethics. What is ethics generally? Okay, let me finish on the regulation. When you have finished registering, you are subject to the rules of the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. As a doctor, that is where the code of medical ethics comes in. It is the code that regulates medical practice. If you look at every other law you have cited, apart from maybe the National Health Act, NAFDAC regulates food and drugs, so not strictly medicine, but they are by extension regulating. But when we talk the practice of medicine, you see the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, which establishes the council. Now, I said the council has two important bodies: Medical and Dental Council, Medical and Dental Practitioners Investigative Panel. So if anybody is accused, any medical doctor is accused, please, can you hear me? It is raining here. Hello,
Yes,
please.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
awesome. Good. So if any medical doctor is accused of medical malpractice or medical negligence, a petition is written against that doctor and submitted to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. That petition is directed to the investigative panel. After you have submitted, the panel will meet, and where there is an establishment of a prima facie case against you, after reading the petition, the panel will direct the petition to the tribunal. The Medical and Dental Practitioners Tribunal will try the erring doctor. Now, the decision of the tribunal is equivalent to the decision of a high court, meaning that any appeal from the decision of the tribunal goes to the court of appeal. So the tribunal has its own practice rules, and it is equivalent to the high court of a state. Now, we talk of ethics. Ethics, we already know, are rules and regulations, basically based more on morality, that guides a group of people, that guides any organization. So ethical principles they are not picked by the road. Ethical principles are principles made to govern a particular organization. They are the ones that make it, members of the organization. So in our case, as we are discussing the medical practice, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria has made the Code of Medical Ethics 2008. Now, it is that code that regulates the conduct of healthcare practitioners in Nigeria. If you read through that code, you will see a lot of do's, a lot of don'ts, how doctors themselves have set a law that should guide them in practicing their profession. Unfortunately, the question now is, to what extent do doctors comply with the provisions of that code? That is a very important question. To what extent do they comply with the provisions of the code? Now, further on ethics, there are 4 cardinal principles or pillars of medical ethics. One is the principle of autonomy. What does it mean? Autonomy means that the patient is the alpha and omega of his own body. The patient is the Lord. The patient is the Lord of his own body. The patient is the master of his own body. Autonomy means that the patient owns his or her body and can determine what should be done to that body, who should touch that body, when and how it should be touched. So before patient's autonomy, what used to be obtainable is what we call paternalism. Paternalism is where the doctor made decisions on behalf of the patients, where the doctor made decisions based on what he thinks is in the best interest of the patients. However, going by the principles of ethics or autonomy, the reverse is the case now. The patient is the owner of his body and has rights to make decisions about his body, and healthcare professionals are bound to respect that decision. Example is where a patient said he does not want blood transfusion. The healthcare professionals have a right to respect it, because that is the patient has right over his body. The patient has a right to, we are not discussing patient's rights, get it clear, we are discussing patient's autonomy. The patient has a right to refuse treatment in exercise of his or her autonomy. And that is where the principle of informed consent comes in. That the patient must agree, the patient must authorize you the patient must give you consent before you can treat the patient. Now, where consent is not obtained before treatment, it is a violation of the patient's rights and also a violation of the ethical principle of autonomy. Second principle is the principle of beneficence, the principle of do good. Now, you contrast it with principle of non-maleficence. So the principle of beneficence means that the decisions you are going to take as a healthcare professional must be in the best interest of the patient. So that means if there are two procedures or two methods of treating an ailment, and one is costlier and we pay your hospital more, and the other is lesser, the principle of beneficence demands that you tell the patient the one that is lesser, the one that has lesser complication, the one that has lesser side effects, the one that is cost effective, because you are making a decision in the best interest of the patient. Now, the principle of non-maleficence, on the other hand, means principle of do no harm. Do not hurt the patient. Do not harm the patient. A doctor, under the Hippocratic oath, because when they are being inducted, they take an oath of allegiance. And Hippocratic oath, one of the lines is that he will make decisions, he is undertaking to save lives. So where you now have situations where doctors are into organ harvesting, it runs contrary to this ethical principle of non-maleficence. Where you have a situation where doctors deliberately connive and do wrong to the patient, whatever kind of wrong, it runs contrary to the principle of non-maleficence. Then we have the principle of justice. Now, the principle of justice talks about fairness, equity, especially in distribution of scarce resources. Example becomes the COVID period, where there was scarcity of ventilator, a good number of hospitals didn't have. Now, if a poor person is hospitalized because of COVID, and his case is not critical, and he's already on ventilator, then a rich person is rushed down to the same hospital, whose case is not as critical as that of the, I wouldn't say insignificant, as that of the poor man. The principle of justice demands that you leave that ventilator on the poor man. So you do not discriminate to say, okay, based on this man's social status, let us remove the ventilator from him and put it on this other poor person or on this rich man. No, you will be going contrary to the principle of justice as a healthcare professional. Now, these are the guiding principles that underpin healthcare practice and medical ethics. So every other rule, every other ethical conduct you see are drawn from these principles. So when we are now talking about respect patients' rights to informed consent, we are talking about autonomy. When we are talking about patients' rights to confidentiality, patients' rights to information, patients' rights to privacy, we are talking, all those things are autonomy under that principle. Now, when we are talking about a patient's right to refuse treatment, it is still under principle of autonomy. Then when we are now talking about quality care, we are talking about beneficence. So when we are talking different principles, ethical principles, what we know today as patients' rights, a good number of them are drawn from these ethical principles. Not just patients' rights, but the conduct that guides doctor-patient relationship. Then we move to a challenging issue here: compliance. Let me use maybe cite a few examples. There's a case in Nigeria, medical and dental disciplinary tribunals against Okonkwo. In that case, Mr. Okonkwo is a medical doctor. He treated a woman who belongs to a sect, a religious group that say they do not take blood transfusion. The man and the wife told the doctor, no matter what happens, blood should not be transfused to the wife. They wrote it and signed it. So, where there was need for blood, because these people have said they should not be transfused, the wife should not be transfused, the man didn't transfuse blood. He provided other care, did his best. Meanwhile, before they got to him, a different hospital had rejected them when they could no longer hold it and say, we mustn't transfuse blood. So they were referred patients to Mr. Okonkwo or Dr. Okonkwo. And he did his best. Eventually, the woman died, and the woman's mother took Dr. Okonkwo to Medical and Dental Council. And Medical and Dental Council disciplinary tribunal decided that Okonkwo was wrong, and his license was withdrawn. Now, he was suspended. Now, note that there are 3 types of punishments the council can give. One is you can be cautioned, warning. You can be warned. 2 is that you can be suspended from practice for 6 months. That's withdrawal of your license for a period not more than 6 months. Then 3, your name can be struck off the register, meaning you are no longer a medical doctor. They will strike your name out, and you will no longer be a medical doctor. Those are the 3 punishments that the Medical and Dental Council Tribunal can hand down. So, Mr. Okonkwo appealed his case, and the Court of Appeal reversed the decision of the Medical and Dental Council Disciplinary Tribunal. And the Medical and Dental Council Disciplinary Tribunal now appealed to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court held that a doctor has a right not to treat a patient who has not given consent for that treatment. So, Mr. Okonkwo did not do any wrong. The woman is Jehovah's Witness. The woman and her family, her husband, they have said, do not transfuse blood. So, Mr. Okonkwo will be wrong, will be violating the woman's right to autonomy. He will be violating the woman's right to refuse treatment if he goes ahead to transfuse blood. So you see how these things play out. It is not just theory. It is practical. There is also another case of Okekaro against Tanko, where the hospital amputated the patients without his consent. The child was taken to hospital for treatment, and the parents were the consent were not sought, and a finger was amputated because it was actually going bad. And they went to court. And the court held that the doctor was wrong for not getting valid consent, thereby violating the principle of autonomy. You can see how these ethical principles are connected. So we go to issue of enforcement, issue of compliance. Do these doctors, do they all comply to these principles? The answer is no, for various reasons. No reason justifies it. Our environment, one, there is so much ignorance about rights of the patients by the patients. The patients do not know their rights. So because of that, doctors get away with a whole lot of violation of those rights. They do not comply, particularly around consent, around transparent billing, around they are trying a lot on issue of privacy. If you have been to a government hospital, particularly in the wards, you will see blue screens, those curtain light things that have rails. They are screens they are used to shield patients to provide privacy for those patients. They are trying. But issues around informed consent, issues around right to information, issues particularly around right of the patient to refuse treatment. Doctors rarely tell the patient that you have a right to refuse treatment. Now, what are other laws that regulate? Now, those ones are providing day-to-day practice. The National Health Act 2014 is there. Excuse me. Okay, they brought my light. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to turn the gen off. The National Health Act 2014 is there. It regulates the engagement with doctor and patients. It provides a lot of rights, both for the patients and obligation also for the doctors. Doctors also have rights. So it's not only patients that have rights. The National Health Act is there. We look at section 20, we look at section 21, we look at section 23, we look at section 26, 27, section 30, and all that. They contain different rights. You look at section 21, the doctor also has a right to refuse treatment. Now, that is one. You look at Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshot Act 2017. That act provides for doctors not to refuse treatment to victims of gunshot. In fact, it says hospitals in Nigeria, whether private or public, should receive and treat adequately
Mr.
persons with gunshot, which or with. You now see that doctors are. Hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you now, sir. We can hear you now,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So it is an ethical practice for them to receive and treat. Then you look at another law, compulsory treatment, not that, HIV/AIDS Anti-Discrimination Act Anti-Discrimination Prohibition Act 2014. That law provides for the rights of persons living with HIV/AIDS and a whole lot. So it also regulates the conduct. But if you talk primarily regulation, the other ones you mentioned, the Data Protection Act, very important. The NAFDAC Act, very important. Yes, they are ancillary, but the core regulatory principal act for medical practice in Nigeria is the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act. The current one is 1988, which was amended 1992, and has been incorporated into the LFN 2004. But there is a bill before the National Assembly for further amendments. That amendment has not happened. So that is the regulation. Now, compliance, there are issues with compliance, and these issues, one of the challenges of compliance is, one, you do have idea how many people that Nigeria, what's the population of Nigeria? Who can tell me? Who can tell me the population of Nigeria?
230,
Eh?
230 million, sir.
Okay, so we are above 200 million people. Now, out of these 200 million, about 100 and something thousand, or maximum 200 if they are up to now, are medical doctors. Or maximum, I doubt if we have up to 500,000 medical doctors out of these 200 million people, plus people. So you see the challenge. Two is lack of technology, because to properly regulate compliance, you are supposed to have a database of medical practitioners. I'm not saying there is no database, but electronic database of medical practitioners, their area of practice, what they are doing. That is part of the work of Medical and Dental Council. They have that information. But the challenge now is that the patients who are receiving treatment are not aware of this regulation. A lot of you are hearing what you're hearing for the first time now. Is that correct? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Now,
It's correct.
a lot of you are hearing what you're hearing for the first time now. A lot of you got in contact with this knowledge as you were doing your research. Some of you are graduates, some of you are undergraduates. Now imagine your parents and grandparents and other relatives in the villages who do
Hello, sir. Are you with us? Your network has gone bad, sir. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Ebenezer's network has gone a bit bad. I'm sure he'll be joining us back very soon. Let's just hold on for a minute while he rejoins the session. And please, if you are having network challenges, you can also kindly go out and come back into the class so that you can get to hear everything clearly, because there's quite a lot of serious information that Mr. Ebenezer is sharing, and I do hope that each and every single one of us is learning and taking full advantage of what he is saying. You are either writing or you are also recording on your back end. Though this class will still be made available to you, it's being streamed live on YouTube. So after the session, you can still have access to the class. It will be sent to your group. but I also do encourage us to all pay attention. Sorry, once again, please let's do all to exercise a little patience. I'm trying to grab a hold of him. So that we can get him back on the call. He seems to. All right, I've gotten a hold of him. He'll be joining us a bit, just very shortly.
Hello, sorry, please. I had a network challenge. I told you people it's raining here.
Oh, you're welcome
Hello.
back, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi, sir.
Well,
We
can
can
anyone
hear you,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
can hear you, sir.
Okay. Yes, apologies, please. I told you people it's raining here, so it affected my network. But I'm glad I am back. It's still saying your internet connection is unstable. Okay, no problem. So we're talking about compliance now, and the challenge with compliance, a good number of healthcare professionals are complying. But as the saying goes, in every 12, you will have a Judas. So the few persons who are not complying, are the ones causing serious problem. Now, what are the effects of non-compliance with the ethical principles? It leads to what we call medical negligence or medical malpractice, which ultimately affects the health of the patient because it
Sorry again, he's still experiencing network challenge. I'm sure he will try to resolve the network problem as soon as possible so that we can carry on with class. But once again, thank you all for your patience. Let's do well to just sit back
I
and
am back again. So the danger
all right.
with medical negligence is that you are dealing with human beings. It is not car. It is not furniture. We are dealing with lives that could. Then when we talk about health technology, we can say with utmost certainty that technology has come to stay. And because technology has come to stay, there is also need to have regulations. The presenters have mentioned a few. We have the Data Protection Act, which used to be regulation, but since 2023, it has become a law. Act provides how data, patients' data, users' data should be processed. In fact, hospitals are supposed to have data officers, data processing officers, who are supposed to handle patients' data. So where you now have a breach or, okay, even section, I think 27 of the National Health Act provides for handling a patient's data. So you see that where a patient's data is not properly handled and sensitive information leaks, it is a violation, and that patient can sue. Then you have the NAFDAC that regulates and registers medical devices. Because you do not just produce, no matter how beautiful your product is, it has to be subjected to regulatory standards. So NAFDAC is there to regulate and ensure quality. That what the sample you have shown us, the same products, all of them are the same, and they have met the standard procedure. The Standard Organization of Nigeria, none of you mentioned it, is also there for quality assurance. Hello, sincere apologies. The network is seriously fluctuating.
All right, sir. No problem, sir. We can hear you.
It is coming up and going off.
Sorry about that, sir, but we can hear
Hello,
you
can
now,
you hear
sir.
me?
We can hear you now, sir.
Wow.
Hello, sir. You are audible.
Hello.
We can hear you. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Dennis Williams. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me at all?
Yes,
Yes, sir. We
Hello?
can
Yes,
hear
sir, we
you.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to be sure because the network.
Hello, sir. We can see you're back on the call. Sorry about your network challenge, sir. But can you hear us now, sir?
Okay. So I was saying regulate equipment, our medical devices, and what is their name? Standard Organization of Nigeria is also there. Now, for NAFDAC, where there is violation, it is treated as a criminal offense. Even though some you pay penalty. But for violation of medical ethics, particularly the person that said, the first presenter, where you said if a person is found to be practicing without license. Let me expatiate on that. Medical practitioners are supposed to renew their licenses yearly, their practice license yearly. Now, in renewing your practice license, you don't just renew it when you like. You renew it latest on the eve of the anniversary of your previous renewal. So let's assume that you renewed your license on 1st January 2025. That license will serve you till 31st December. So latest by 30th December, you are supposed to have renewed your license. Why? Because at every material time you are practicing medicine, you are supposed to have a valid practice license. Even if you are a consultant, everybody knows your name, and you are found to be practicing at any moment without a valid practice license, it is an offense. In fact, you are treated as a quack at that material time that you are practicing without license. You are taken to be a quack. So one of the offenses a medical professional can commit, it is a serious offense to practice without license or fraudulent registration. If they eventually found out that your registration is fraudulent, it is a very serious offense. It is not taken lightly. So, in conclusion, as this network is disturbing me, Nigeria is doing its best to regulate medical practice. However, we still have a whole lot left to be desired, particularly in the use of technology for our regulation, deployment of technology for our regulation. 2, the lack of awareness amongst patients makes it difficult to regulate, or rather to secure compliance, because sometimes it is when a wrong is reported, that you know that somebody has not complied. So the Medical and Dental Council are not spirits, they are not magicians, they are humans. So they are not omnipresent, they are not everywhere. It is when a case is reported that they know, oh, this person didn't comply. So there is need, one, to increase the awareness of patients regarding the ethics of healthcare professionals, because it is when a patient knows what the ethics of healthcare professionals are, particularly towards him as a patient, that he will know that at this point, this person is violating or breaching this. Thank you very much. Any questions, so that we can just take few questions as much as the network allows us?
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer, for a very wonderful, detailed presentation. We apologize on behalf of the network. We hope in subsequent classes it's not going to be an issue for us. So please, if we have any questions in class right now, please, we can go ahead and ask Mr. Ebenezer. I am sure he's ready and willing to answer all our questions. You can send your questions into the chat box. If you can't do that, you can't unmute your mic, right? So please, let's do well to ask questions. Do we have anyone with questions in class?
Excuse me, sir, I have a question.
Okay, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay. You mentioned a case study about this beneficence, non-maleficence, and autonomy. Something about doctor cutting off a patient's hand that was infected, and at the end, doctor was treated. I don't understand why. Because how can you create a balance? What if the doctor was trying to, prevent further infection, and he
Yes,
cut off his hand?
that is actually the defense. That's actually the defense of healthcare professionals. That is the defense. Now, when you talk about rights to information, one of the components of rights to information is, one, the nature of the ailment, two, the likely side effects, the consequence, three, the cost implication, four, the treatment options available, and five, the right of the patient to refuse that treatment. If you have not communicated these five things, the communication to that patient is flawed. The patient will not be able to give what we call informed consent. Now, under the principle of autonomy, we said that the patient is the alpha and the omega of his own body. Is that not correct? So that patient, was the patient willing to have one finger amputated? Who made that decision? So why you give patients information is it allows them to decide what they want. It allows the patient to say, okay, I am willing. I can bear the consequence. I can live with one. I didn't know I was talking to myself. Please, what was the last thing you heard?
You said the patient has the right. Yeah, can you hear us, sir? Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
What was the last thing you heard?
You said that.
I said, what was the last thing you heard me say before the thing went off?
You said if the patient has proper informed information about it, about if he is able to live with one finger. That, I think that was around where you stopped, sir.
Okay. Now, the locus classicus, the foundation case when we talk about patient's autonomy is a case of Sklendorf against Society of New York Hospital. That case was decided in 1914. And the judge, Lord Cardoso, who gave the judgment in that case, had this to say. He said, every human of adult years and sound mind has a right to determine what shall be done to his body. And a surgeon who performs an operation without his patient's consent commits an assault which he is liable to in damages. Do you understand it? So any doctor, this decision is as old as 1914, when Nigeria was amalgamated as a nation. So you as a doctor, your patients, that's why we say these are ethics. If it we said under the principle of paternalism, the doctor has the power to make decisions in the best interest of the patients. But under the principle of autonomy or self-determinism, the patient has a right. It is the patient's body. The patient can decide to rather have the 5 fingers complete and die than have one amputated and live. It is the decision of the patient. So the court held that's a Okekaro against Tanko. Just type it on your Google, Okekaro against Tanko. You will see the case, the facts of the case. So the court held that the doctor was wrong in doing that. He didn't obtain valid consent. He didn't get consent. So that is it. No matter what it is, consent is required. What is consent? Consent is authorization. So if you are not authorized, you don't do. That's what we are saying here. That if the patient does not authorize you to, you as a healthcare professional, you don't do. Any other question, please? Is that understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Any other question?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello.
Okay. Dennis, in the absence of any other question, I think we can shut down.
Hello.
Next week, we'll do our intro.
There's someone with a question, sir. All right. So, Mr. Adisa. So, sorry,
Thank
what
you
will
very
happen?
much.
Okay, Mr. Adisa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so what we'll do is that we will take your question in the group chat. Mr. Ebenezer is also in that main group, so you can send your question in the group chat and tag him. I would share his contact in case if you have any question. I will tag him so that you can type your questions and send it to the group chats for him to answer. So saying that network is quite terrible and we have gone far. He has been able to cover his subject matter. We'll be seeing in the next class. Hopefully, the hopefully
Hello.
in the next.
Can you hear me? I said in the absence of any other question that we can shut down. Then next week, we do our proper introductions so that I get to know the participants and where they are joining from. Apologies for the network fluctuation, please. It has been coming on and off. Have
All
you
right,
done
sir.
your picture session?
No, sir, not yet, sir.
Hello,
So please,
Dennis.
yes, sir, not yet, not yet. I'm about to do that. Hello, sir, can you hear us? So please, can everyone turn on their video so that we can take a quick picture for today's class? Thank you. All right. So please, you can turn on your video. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer, for turning your video. I can see we have a number of us video on. Sorry, give me a moment. Sorry.
Take the shots quickly before the network logged me out again.
All right, sir. I'll do just that. 1 minute. All right, we are done. We are done. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you. So the
right.
conversation continues on the platform. If you have questions, just put it on the platform. I will also be dropping some other trainings I have. On Tuesday, I have a training on
We can't hear you.
Oh, hello. Can we hear you? Can you hear me now? Sorry, my speaker
Yes,
was
sir.
muted again. All right. I said just like the way we have worked to get our presentation ready into this class. Please let's also carry on the same energy into the next class. Right. Please let us all work together as a team so that we can sharpen ourselves and better inform ourselves about this particular course that we have taken. All right. So see you all in the next class. Enjoy the rest of your evening and goodbye. And sorry, before I go, do not forget to fill in the attendance. I will be sending it to the group. So if you're in class at all today, fill in the attendance, and you can also post what you have learned in today's session. Good night, everyone, and take care. God bless.